Hello, everybody. My name is Jesse Hawks, and I am the USA Program Director for MindLeaps. And I'm thrilled to have Laya Barak joining us today. Oh, there she is. I'm going to wave to her. This is my first time doing the Moments with MindLeaps. So if I get some technical things wrong, just let me know.
Yay!
Hey,
Hey, how are you?
I'm good, Leah. How are you?
I'm doing great. Happy to be here.
Oh, nice to have you here. Oh, and I see Bashir has just joined us now. Maybe he's in Mauritania, maybe he's in Guinea. I don't know. I can't keep track of that guy. Welcome to everybody to Moments with MindLeaps. My name is Jesse Hawks, and I'm the USA Program Director for MindLeaps. And we are thrilled today to be joined by Laya Barak.
Happy to be here.
Yes, thank you so much for taking the time to join us on Moments with MindLeaps, which, as most of the followers today will know, is a program every Friday afternoon dedicated to speaking with people who are either associated with MindLeaps in some way or who, sorry, I was just reading a comment. I get distracted by comments. I'm not good at Instagram. But anyway, people who are associated with MindLeaps or who are in the field of the arts, working on arts for social change, or perhaps they're in international, in the field of international education or development. And we have a lot of people who have spoken with us over time, and I'm thrilled to have you with us here today.
Yay! Hi, Bashir.
I'll just do a little reading of Laya's biography for everybody so they know who you are, and then we'll get into the interview.
Okay.
So Laya Barak is a professional dancer, choreographer, and creative director based out of New York. Laya has done choreography for an illustrious amount and number of and groups of people and organizations and companies. She has done choreography for various recording artists in New York, Cyprus, and Israel. Her choreography has been showcased at venues such as Alvin Ailey for the Ladies of Hip Hop Festival, and she's the director of Broadway Bares, a special production aimed at raising funds for Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS, a major production every year, once or twice a year in New York.
It's once a year in June. But then there's Broadway Bares San Francisco, Broadway Bares Fire Island. So there's little offshoots that also raise money for Broadway Cares.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we are so happy. In the past, Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS has actually supported MindLeap's work in Rwanda. We're so grateful for that.
Yeah.
And Laya has taught hip-hop and street jazz classes all over the city at Steps on Broadway, Broadway Dance Center, and Alvin Ailey. She has also taught workshops and master classes around the U.S. and abroad. She has an instructional DVD available on Amazon titled Urban Jam Hip-Hop with Laya Barak.
Yes.
Yeah, it's still out there. It's still out there. And Laya is also a certified Pilates instructor, and maybe we'll have time to talk a little bit about that. She graduated from Indiana University with a BA in Arts Administration, Dance, and Business. And speaking of business, in addition to being a professional dancer and choreographer and creative director, Laya has a family-run bone broth company called Broth Masters.
Yeah.
And I hear any more about that right now, I'm going to get too hungry to continue the interview, so we might as well move on to another question.
Sounds good.
Maybe we'll come back to that. So my first question today, Laya, is, we have youth in these programs around the world, and many people who are watching today just by association are either young dancers or they might want to become dancers. So I was curious to know from you, what drew you to dance? And how did you come to realize that dance was something that you wanted to do as a career?
Yeah, I mean, my first dance class, I was 2 years old and just following my cousin into a tap class. And from there, I basically followed my cousin's footsteps in, she started doing some dance. I got into dance. And then as I got older, I started, doing the competition scene. I grew up in Michigan at Annette and Company, which was Annette Bergasse's studio. who is the mother of Josh Bergasse. So Josh Bergasse was my teacher growing up. And we used to go to conventions and I would learn from all these hip hop choreographers and just all these different choreographers. And I loved it. And I would come back to the studio and I would start choreographing my own stuff. And as I got into like being a senior in high school, I was allowed to teach more and I could teach my peers. And so I started exploring choreography. And then when I got to Indiana, I joined a dance company where we put on a few shows a year and I started choreographing more and more. And so from there, I actually started an individualized major program to do both the dance and the business. Since there was a ballet program at Indiana, but there wasn't like just a all around dance program. They had a modern dance program that was a minor. So me and 5 other girls put together this program. And when I left there, I came right to New York. And I've been teaching actually at the Steps youth program at Steps on Broadway. So I've had the opportunity to work with a lot of youth and travel and teach youth in Cyprus or Israel, like you mentioned. So, I find that kids that want to get into this type of career or dance, if you love it, it's really an amazing way to express yourself and to just an outlet. And whether or not for sure I want to be a dancer for the rest of my life, or whether you want to use it as a tool to get emotions out, like help just cope with life in general. And as the career progresses, just like me and a lot of dancers who have pivoted through the pandemic, you can do both. You can do the dance and train really hard, and maybe you do have a career and join that, or maybe you continue to dance and you have a career in building your own business like bone broth or Pilates, or adding whatever works for you. So I've always been taught to pursue your dreams, and also have like backup plans just in case.
Yeah, well, and I love the fact that you talked about how dance can help you process and how it can help with your emotions and center you. And of course, most people watching this will know that MindLeaps' mission is to harness the power of dance to improve social emotional learning and to put young people on a path towards success in education generally. Or in business, not necessarily for dance, although we have wonderful dance performers around the world forming groups and doing some things that are like professional dance or dance for like there's what they call a sensitization or a communication campaign in Guinea, where the dancers there are going to do a campaign on COVID-19 and why it's important to get the vaccine and things like that. So you can use dance in a variety of ways.
Of course.
So yeah, thanks so much for all of that. It sounds like dance has been, and performance has really kind of been a part of your life from a very young age.
Yes.
Which I think that's such a wonderful gift to people to embrace that expression from a young age.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it really helped shape who I am today as a person, and my creativity. It really fed that.
Mm-hmm. Now, you did say something about Pilates, so I'm going to sort of segue. I'm curious, could you tell us a little bit more about what Pilates is? Some people may not know what it is.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, as a dancer, I've had many injuries. And before being a Pilates teacher, I used to go to physical therapy and they would be like, yeah, you're injured because your core is extremely weak and you have no intrinsic muscles working to hold all this together while you're throwing your body around. And I was like, that's impossible. I do crunches all the time. But really my cross training was not what it needed to be to sustain my body. And so I got together with a teacher and she started just helping me basically rebuild my body from like labral tears in my hips or knee issues and surgeries that really caused me tons of pain. And as I started learning about the body and how it all works together, I was really interested in just studying what that looked like to help other dancers, to help people get out of being in pain all the time. And a lot of dancers face that. And honestly, I see it a lot in our youth programs, like whether it's at Steps or wherever I teach, kids are getting injured a lot more than they used to. And dancers these days, especially at a young age, are being pushed to further limits as far as what their body can do. So I wholeheartedly tell people, you have to do the cross training to sustain your body, to be healthy for yourself. So Pilates just helps build those really deep intrinsic muscles that help you stabilize the rest of your muscles so that you're not, throwing your spine out of whack all the time. That when you're dancing, even if it is hip hop, if it's not just ballet where you're, a little bit more in tune with your core, that you can still use that to protect your body. So I think it's one of the most valuable things that any young dancer could get, because I wish that I knew that as a young dancer.
Yeah.
But, years ago, Pilates wasn't really what it is today. Now it is integrated in a lot of programs for dance and for younger kids to start learning, which I've also taught at Steps from the kids that are at a very young age, Pilates mat, teaching them how to use your body now so that you can continue it as you get older.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, I mean, you're talking about healing, and what's interesting is we know that dance has the power to heal us and the people who watch dance, but it also has a power to hurt the body if you don't do it in the right way, or you don't have that Pilates underneath it to strengthen it so that you can go as far as you want to go.
Absolutely.
So, wonderful.
Cross training is important for those kids out there that are trying to be professional dancers and listen to your body, know your body. It's very, very important. Self-care.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And so I'll just segue briefly to the bone broth, because I feel like bone broth is kind of like a healing thing too. Would you say that you're connected to that as well because of the healing power?
Absolutely. It's all connected. My love for dance and training and the Pilates, and then the bone broth was honestly an offshoot of like my own personal journey. I've had Crohn's disease since I was 15 years old, which is an inflammation in the body. A lot of people these days have gut health issues, which can, your gut is your second brain. That if that's off, like your muscles aren't going to function properly. It's all connected.
I attest to that. My friends will also attest to that too.
Yes, exactly. So, the Bone Broth Company started from my own healing journey again. They all build on each other. And my mother started making it for me and shipping it to New York when I had a dance injury that I had to have surgery on. And the medications they put me on while I was having the surgery just totally ruined my insides. And so I got on the bone broth, and that kind of helped just like calm my gut. And while I was on it, like the doctor actually a few weeks after surgery, when they took the MRI, they said they have never seen a bone heal this quickly. And I was literally on the bone broth, which gives you the collagen and the, all the those healing properties. So, we sort of, me and my mom, another thing that we're like, we want to help other people. So how can we do that using this product that has helped me so much? And we did not know what we were doing. We just, basically started making the broth and shipping it out. And, my mom started making it in large batches, and we started in like plastic containers that would break while we shipped them. And now, we're shipping nationwide, and, we do a lot of integrative health shows. I used to do, when we first started the company, I was doing tastings at all the Broadway shows behind stage for the dancers.
Oh, wow.
And I would do actually like drop-off deliveries at stage doors. So,
do you have any vegetarian options in that regard? I know bones are not.
We don't. Unfortunately, a lot of vegetarians do drink the bone broth just because it's just the broth, and the bones are what is so good for your collagen and, the healing and the anti-inflammatory factor. But, there's other healthy things you can do for your body if you aren't drinking something like bone broth.
Well, when I was in Rwanda, living there for about 6-7 years, doing a theater project with high school students, like sometimes at night I would just get these cravings for certain things, and there happened to be a little shop right around the corner that all they served was this big thing called boiled. It was just like all this, like it was mostly cow and other things, but it was everything was boiled. And you'd get meat, but you mostly get broth, and it was like the boil, the tradition. It's like
an ancient food that like has been a healing property forever. We didn't make it up, but my mother makes a great one, and we try to do our part. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's called broth.
Broth Masters.
Masters. Yeah, cool. Well, let's see. So, actually, I don't really know the time. Oh, we're 15 minutes in, so we're doing okay.
Yeah.
Um, let's see here. Um, so, I guess I would like to know a little bit more about how you came to know MindLeaps.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love
I
to.
know you're connected to us in some ways, but if you wouldn't mind explaining that for us.
Absolutely. Well, one of my very dear friends is Lamar Baylor, who introduced me to Mind Leaps many years ago. And he introduced me to Rebecca, hi, Rebecca, I think you're here and you're amazing. And I'm so in awe of all the work that both Lamar and Rebecca do. Um, so I actually had the pleasure of meeting Lamar when my first year choreographing for Broadway Bares, which is the big event for Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS that we raise, $1 to $2 million every year. It's just exponentially grown. So Lamar was in my number that first year, and we just had a really strong connection. And then from there on, like, we became very, very good friends. And he told me about Mind Leaps, and I met with Rebecca a few times. We were trying to figure out going to Rwanda. One of the times the dates didn't work, and then we talked about it again, and then the pandemic hit. And there's always been something, but I would absolutely love to get the chance to go and teach there. That would be unbelievable, and work with those students.
Well,
Hi, Rebecca.
one of the
I
things
see her
that
in the comments. And
you may know that one of the original groups of students that Rebecca worked with in Rwanda, which is like where the Mind Leaps concept was birthed, was a group of kids who were basically doing hip hop off of the street.
yeah,
If you
yeah,
got
unbelievable. I mean, so, that those first years, like anything Lamar asked, I would be like, yes, I'll help, whatever you need. And I had made a donation that year, and I received a letter in the mail from one of the students with a photo, and it was like a hand written with like drawings on it, and it was like the most unbelievable thing. I remember I like opened it and cried, and then like called Lamar and was like, this is unbelievable. Like, it's a really like personal connection to these kids, even if you're doing the smallest thing to help, like everything goes a really long way. So, I always would love to do more and be more involved in any way that I can. I just really admire everything that Rebecca has built and what Lamar does and that you've gone and done. And I've heard nothing but amazing things. I know one of my old students, Hope Easterbrook, who was like my student since she was 14. She had the opportunity to go to Rwanda and teach, and it changed her life. I mean, just she was so inspired by these kids and their hard work and everything they're doing over there. It's like just really, really touching.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for all your forms of support. And Rebecca has written here, you
Yes.
have to come to Rwanda and Guinea, Leia. Smile, 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 smile. Yes.
Yes, I can't wait for the new facility when it's built. That's
Yeah, the new build in Guinea.
Unbelievable.
Well, speaking of work overseas, you have worked in Cyprus and in Israel, I think maybe in Australia as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just curious to know specifically choreographing in Cyprus and Israel. What were some of the challenges that you faced there that might have been different challenges than you might face in the United States? Or
Yeah.
what can you just describe the difference between those two things?
Yeah, I mean, I think like the beautiful thing about dance is that it is such a universal language, even if you don't speak the language of wherever you are, teaching or choreographing. Um, I would say abroad, like everyone's just so eager to learn and have choreographers come from New York or LA or wherever they're coming from, and they just eat it up and they just want to get as much knowledge as possible, which is like a really beautiful thing. Not that kids don't want to do that here, but it's much more accessible in a lot of places. And so when you are teaching in more remote places or other countries, there can tend to be like just a different hunger for the learning. And some of the challenges can be, the language barriers, not speaking the same language, but then again, dance in itself, you start movement and they start learning, and it's such a beautiful thing to see. And like I said, dance is a universal language once you start that movement, and you can speak without actually speaking. So it's really beautiful.
Fabulous. Yeah. I think, dance, music, universal languages, and and this is why I think MindLeaps has been playing such a crucial role, bridging international divides, bringing people from the U.S. overseas, and hopefully also in the future having a chance to have a program here in the United States itself to explore the power of dance, working with under-resourced communities here in our own country.
Yeah, sign me up, because
where
we
we're
need
going.
that help here too. Yeah, absolutely. I'm here for that. Absolutely.
So I guess I wanted to know a little bit more about the business of being a dancer. And since you're also a businesswoman in another business, could you compare what is it like? Because, MindLeaps, we have students who are out there working on business plans. We have the Virtual Academy where they learn about business entrepreneurship, and they come up with business plans, and some of them are actually funded with seed money that then they're able to try the business out. I'm curious to know, how is being a dancer and having that be part of your own business, right, different than running a business that is like selling a product like broth?
I mean, it's kind of the same, right? I mean, you're putting yourself out there as your business in dance. Like, what can I deliver as like my business, right? I can deliver teaching and teaching well. I can deliver choreography and movement. I can deliver concepts that I have to think of and create. I will say, as far as like the business side and, the dance side, directing a show like Broadway Bares, for instance, there are so many moving parts within that, like that you are responsible for. So it's not just like being a creative and choreographing something and having an idea. It's like having an idea for the full concept of a show, but then you're working with the set designer, like that, they're kind of collaborating with you for that. You're working with the marketing team, which is running everything by you to see what works and what doesn't work. You're working with the costume designers, and everyone has all these amazing creative minds, and you're this sole person that has to work with everybody and manage everybody together. So it really is like an amazing tool for business management in itself. And I sort of, with the broth company, or I built my own Pilates studio out of my home in New York, and I built my clients. You put yourself out there, you market yourself in some way, and you ask for what you're worth, and hopefully that people see your value and see your product's value, whether that's an actual product like bone broth, or whether that's teaching clients Pilates and helping them heal their body, which is a product into their selves, or teaching, youth how to be a professional in this industry, or directing or choreographing a show. I mean, all those tools are invaluable, whether you want to go into business or whether you want to take what you've learned in dance and training, because the training in itself is discipline. And you have to be disciplined in the world of business as well to be successful. So I believe wholeheartedly that dance and committing yourself to something like a training of dance is extremely beneficial to all business in the future. It goes hand in hand.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that great explanation. So we normally end these programs by asking you to give some advice to young people who are out there. We've already talked a little bit about that. I had a question here, which I think you addressed already, something along the lines of, if you're on the fence about whether you should be a professional dancer versus just trying to maybe appreciate dance in other ways in your life. You're training, you're wondering if you're going to become a professional dancer, but you might be interested in something else. I think you already mentioned something about that. I don't know if you want to add anything to that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a really hard thing to decide when you're a kid, and when you're, the ages between like 10 and 18, of deciding, do I want to be a professional dancer or choreographer or go into this industry? Because it is like any industry, it's a challenging industry. It's hard on your body. It's not just hard like mentally, it's hard physically. And so you really have to make that choice for yourself if that's something that you want to pursue. you know, obviously there can be a lot of money in dance if you put yourself out there in the business sense, you know, and ask for your worth, because that is a really important part of this industry that I think, you know, everyone is trying to push now, is that, you know, dancers' worth and what they have to give and perform, like they should be compensated for that. And so, you know, there is no right or wrong choice. You know, I wanted to be in dance. I wanted to choreograph, but I was also extremely nervous about moving to New York and doing that. You know, and I sort of, you get here and you make friendships and you network and you work with as many people as you possibly can, because it really is an amazing community of people, and everyone truly does, it from my perspective, at least in New York, want to help each other succeed. And there is room for everyone, if you want it. But at the same time, you don't have to know when you're 16 if you want to be a professional dancer. You can just decide, I love dance and I want to continue training and I'm really good at it, so let me continue on this path. But let me also keep my to understand if that's something that I really want, if I would like to go into business, or if I want to make dance and business both be something that I do, which is what I did in college.
Right.
You know, what I did in college, I chose both dance and business. I did an integrative program where the business classes that I took with opera business and theater business, and they weren't just regular business classes. So it was business in the arts, which Indiana offered, and it was amazing. So it was, I say, go for your dreams, pursue, always explore other options. There's always tons of things and resources in this industry that you can pursue. So.
Wonderful. Well, as you know, Rebecca also did a business degree and a dance. When she was doing her dancing in Philadelphia, so we're excited that those are some overlaps. Maybe one of these days you can you know, look at some of our business plans on the virtual academy or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't mean to volunteer like while we're on Instagram Live, but I have the power.
Yes, I love it.
Well, Laya, we're reaching the end of the half hour, and I just want to thank you so much for spending time with us today by the fireside.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yes.
And yeah, we'll look forward to seeing the next Broadway Bares show here in New York.
Yes, their 30th anniversary. We're planning on being live in Hammerstein Ballroom, so in June.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much, and thanks to Lamar for helping to connect us today.
Yes, thank you, Lamar, for having me, and Rebecca and Jesse. It was so nice to talk to you today.
Nice to talk to you too. Thanks for being part of my first moment as MindLeaps.
Yeah, you did amazing. Thank you
Thanks
so
a
much.
lot. You too. Okay. Bye.